Harry loses the plot. The Duke of Sussex's first day in the witness stand in his needless and bitter war against the Daily Mail newspaper was a complete disaster. The guy is a hot mess, attacking the royal family, once again playing the victim card. Poor me, the world's least happy millionaire.
Good day and welcome to Royal Top Stories, where royal drama gets served hotter than tea left in the sun. Imagine flying back to Britain, putting your hand on the Bible, swearing to tell the truth, and then tripping over your own memoir like a banana peel in front of the entire world. That is Prince Harry this week. The Duke of Sussex has officially entered the witness box, and instead of delivering justice, he delivered chaos. A courtroom, a judge, a barrister, and one very confused prince who cannot decide whether he is a victim, a hero, or the world's most misunderstood millionaire. Stay right there because this story goes from tragic to ridiculous faster than a royal wedding turning into a Netflix documentary. Quick favor, if you are enjoying this royal roller coaster, hit that subscribe button and tap the notifications bell. It costs nothing, takes 1 second, and helps this channel grow. Thank you if you did. Now back to the show. Prince Harry's war against the Daily Mail was meant to be his moment of redemption. Instead, it looked more like an audition for Britain's Got Tantrums. Day one in court, and he's already clashing with the judge, contradicting himself and arguing with the barrister like he's on a late-night talk show instead of under oath. This is not reality television, Harry. This is the High Court. And here's where it gets spicy. Reports say he appeared confused about basic details, including whether he used a pseudonym called Mr. Mischief, a name that now feels less like a secret identity and more like an accidental self-description. The judge had to remind him that his job was to answer questions, not debate them. Translation? Sir, this is a courtroom, not your diary. Then came the emotional hand grenade. The Daily Mail's lawyer began reading out testimony about Harry's relationship with his ex-girlfriend, Chelsea Davy. Private trips, romantic plans, and personal habits all dragged back into the spotlight. Harry reportedly looked shaken, and you could almost hear Meghan Markle's California coffee cup hitting the floor. Chelsea Davy represents everything Harry claims he wanted: a quiet life, dignity, and zero interest in Hollywood fame. She married, had children, and disappeared into a peaceful existence in Africa. Meanwhile, Harry is in court reliving their romance like it's a greatest hits album nobody asked for. The irony is thicker than palace curtains. Now, pause and think about this. Harry says the press invaded his privacy by talking about Chelsea, yet he never asked Chelsea if she wanted her private life dragged through court 2 decades later. Her husband reportedly told him to stop mentioning her. He did not. So now her name is back in headlines worldwide, courtesy of Prince Overshare. And this is where hypocrisy does a cartwheel. Harry complains about privacy, while his own book, Spare, exposed everything from family arguments to intimate details about his brother and sister-in-law. He even revealed private moments involving his late grandmother. But when a newspaper talks about a public girlfriend from years ago, suddenly it's the crime of the century. That is not consistency, that's selective outrage. Sources also claim Meghan Markle is furious, and honestly, who would not be? Every article about Chelsea praises her for staying out of the spotlight, never leaking stories, and living quietly. Meanwhile, Meghan and Harry monetized their relationship through interviews, documentaries, and podcasts. One woman avoided cameras, the other built a brand. The contrast is brutal. Then came the judge's public rebuke. Justice Matthew Nicklin had to stop proceedings and remind Harry that arguing back with a barrister is not how court works. He said Harry was doing what many litigants do, talking instead of answering. Imagine being told off like a schoolboy while sitting in a witness box wearing a suit worth more than most people's rent. And here's the ghost of royal wisdom returning from the past. Queen Elizabeth reportedly warned Harry before her death, "What is in print stays in print." She begged him not to publish his memoir. She knew that once something is written, it becomes permanent evidence. Harry ignored her, published the book, promoted it as completely truthful, and now that same book is being used against him in court. That is not bad luck, that's bad listening. Meanwhile, Prince William quietly proved years ago that you can sue the press as a working royal and win. He did it professionally and donated the winnings to Invictus Games, Harry's own charity. William sued for principal. Harry is suing for revenge and possibly rent money. One brother handled intrusion with dignity, the other is melting down under oath. And let's talk money, because lawsuits are not funded by fairy dust. Harry reportedly earned over $150 million from books, streaming deals, and podcasts. Yet somehow he still borrows private jets and stays in other people's houses like a permanent house guest who never brings wine. Legal fees alone are said to be around £40 million. Add security, a mansion in Montecito, and Hollywood living, and suddenly that fortune looks more like loose change. Industry insiders now whisper a dangerous word: grifters. It means people who take the money and don't deliver the product. Spotify walked away. Netflix is reportedly questioning future deals. Executives are asking whether the Sussex brand is worth the drama. When your name becomes more trouble than profit, contracts start shrinking faster than royal patience. Even worse, if Harry loses this case, he could be personally responsible for the entire legal bill. That's not pocket change, that's financial freefall. And multiple senior lawyers have already walked away from his case. In legal terms, that's like seeing the lifeguards leave the pool while you're still swimming. There's also the awkward little issue of contradictions. Harry's sworn testimony appears to clash with what he wrote in Spare. That's not just embarrassing, that's dangerous, because lying under oath is not a public relations problem, it's a legal one. Prosecutors need proof you knowingly lied, and when your own published book contradicts your courtroom words, that proof becomes very loud. And suddenly, the pattern looks familiar. Prince Andrew thought he was untouchable. Lawsuit, humiliation, exile. Harry now walks a similar path, believing rules bend for royalty. They don't, not in court. Back at home, the royal family remains silent. No phone calls, no statements, no rescue missions. Silence is their strategy, and perhaps their message. Harry reportedly checked his phone constantly during his London visit. No response. The bridges he burned with Spare are not rebuilding themselves. So here we are, a prince in court, haunted by his own words, reliving an old love story, clashing with a judge, and watching his reputation wobble like a crown on a windy balcony. The man who wanted privacy is now the headline, the man who wanted justice is now the spectacle, and the man who wanted to escape the royal system is discovering that the real world has rules too. Thank you for watching Royal Top Stories.